This is Zichru Simanim Dav Kuf Chav Ches. Kuf Chav Ches is Kuf 100 Chav Ches Koyach. So this is going to be 100 strong men. So Kuf Chav Ches 100 Koyach. 100 strong men. So you see in the picture over here, we have a lot of strong men. And who are they standing next to? They're standing next to a blind person. Standing next to a blind person, and they're waiting in line at a Bezdin. They're waiting in line at a Bezdin. So we have our 100 strong men. And the number of one thing is they tell a blind person, I'm sorry, we cannot accept your testimony. Point number one, that the testimony is not accepted of a blind person. The whole discussion of when the person became blind and the level of testimony that could be accepted. Now, what was the testimony that the blind man was trying to say was that his wife should inherit equally with him. And that's going to be the discussion whether one is allowed to give his wife an inheritance in equal portion to the children. They walk into Bezdin, and what do they witness? They witness a discussion. There's a person here holding a Sefer Torah, and he's swearing he paid half, whereas the Eidim are saying he paid full. And that's the discussion that when one contradicts Eidim, but he admitted part, he's going to have to swear in Bezdin. So we have to have Kuf Chav Ches. We have 100 strong men. Kuf 100 Koyach. We have point number one, that one cannot give testimony after they're blind, as these strong men tell the blind person. Number two is the testimony if one wants to give his wife an equal portion with the children. And number three is the case of the partial admittance. So let's go and dive a little bit deeper into these three dinim. Number one, the dinim of whether one can give testimony after becoming blind. We had 7 dinim there of Abba sent to Rav Yosef Bar Chama. And they began with, so knew boundaries of land, but then he became blind. Could he testify now? Well, he can't see the boundaries. Shmuel says he can know precisely the boundaries. But Shmuel says that's only by a field, but by a garment you can't know precisely. Rav Sheshes, no, even by a garment you can know precisely, but by a metal bar you cannot know precisely. Rav Papa says, yes, you can know its weight. The Brisa says that Lamaisa, that if one became related through marriage after seeing something, or became a cheresh, a shaita, or an psuma, someone who's blind, he is disqualified. Why? Says the Brisa, kol shetchilasai, oisayfai bepaslus, is pasul. So what do we see? We see that the blind person can never testify, not like all the different opinions that when he became blind or if he knew something about the measurements, etc. Suma, like in our picture, these 100 strong men tell the blind guy, I'm sorry, we cannot accept your testimony. Number two, can someone give his wife a share equally like the children? Rav Abba said to Rav Yosef Bar Chama was one of the 7. Tita lishti kechem and abonim. It works. She gets like one of the kids. Says the Gemara, what's the case? Either number one, a shchimera, where when one says something verbally on the deathbed, we listen to him, or it has to be that he made a kinyan. But Rava says, but which properties? The ones he has right now. Because future properties he would not be able to. And the children that are going to come afterwards to divide. But if he has more children or they die, then it would not work. And number 3 was that these 100 strong men, Kof, 100, Koyach, Kof, Chav, Ches, after telling the blind men that they can't accept his testimony, then they walked into Bez and they see that a borrower says he paid half. And the witnesses says he paid full. What's the story? The story is, Arez and Ishma, you have to swear like a regular Moida b'mixas, and he'll collect menechasim b'nei chayrin of that half. However, not mishubadim, why? Because they could say, what do you mean? We have Eidim that we could rely upon. So we have Kov Chav Ches, 100 strong men. Number 1, that they tell this blind man, the whole discussion with the blind man has them eidos, and we're saying no. Number 2, can someone give his wife equal with the kids? Yes, if it's a shchimera, or if there was a kinyan sudar. And number 3 is they walk into Bezdin, witnessing that when someone has a partial admittance, even though he's being contradicted by Eidim, we allow him to swear and to be believed. Kof Chav Ches, 100 strong men.